Hi. What's up? Really staring at all? Hi, baby. Hello, Scout. Getting comfy or trying to move on? Yeah, which one? Which one are we doing? Are we are we napping on my chest or are we walking away? Nope. And decision. She's still on my lap. Unsure at this point. It's no secret that Has Been Hotel is one of my favorite things right now. I listen to the soundtrack and related songs whenever I'm in the car or at the gym. I've watched countless compilations, and I'm on my nth watch through of the show right now. And I say that because I genuinely can't remember what number I'm at anymore. Yet, despite the sheer volume of Has Been Hotel content I've consumed, there's still a few questions that I have that I can't find answers for. Perhaps some of these will be addressed in future seasons of the show. Perhaps some of these are just plot holes or one off things that are never going to be clarified. Either way, here are 14 burning questions that I still have after watching Has Been Hotel. How can Adam's hologram grab Charlie in Hell is Forever? It's established early in Charlie and Adam's meeting that Adam and Lute aren't there. They're just holograms being projected into the Heaven Embassy. Adam literally baits her into trying to make contact with him twice to laugh at her as a practical joke, and he goes on a whole spiel about how hell is just such a bummer. Yet at the end of Hell is Forever, Adam grabs Charlie's wrist and spins her out of the room. Did Heaven develop hologram technology that can become solid at will, or was this more for the plot, just so the song could end the way it ended? We haven't seen Heaven use the hologram since that meeting, so I don't know if we'll ever actually get clarification. How are Adam and Lute so confident that angels can't make mistakes while talking to Lucifer's daughter? This one is kinda self-explanatory. They are so adamant that they cannot make mistakes, yet they're saying this to the daughter of Lucifer, an angel who, in their eyes, has very clearly made some mistakes, otherwise he wouldn't be where he is. Perhaps there's a distinction between angels and the rest of heaven, similar to how sinners are referred to as demons despite there being hellborns like imps and hellhounds. However, Lucifer referring to his power as angelic in Hell's Greatest Dad does lead me to believe that it's more to showcase their hypocrisy or is just a plot hole that showcases their arrogance. Why are all the exorcists female? This is more of a general question rather than trying to figure out a potential plot hole like the last two, but what was the point of them being female? Is it some sort of commentary on Christian women or a Bible reference that I'm not catching? Was it just cool to have an army of badass women? Was Adam just being sexist and wanted women to be subservient to him? Or will there be a deeper connection to the plot that gets explained somewhere along the lines in Season 2? We only get to see two exorcists have their characters fleshed out in Season 1, Lute and Vaggie, and their characters are amazing members of the cast. So I do honestly hope that a little more behind this gets explained, or we just get some more general exorcist lore in the future. Did the exorcists have lives before the exterminations, or were they just created to give Adam an army to command? This question stems from episode 6, when Adam and Lute confront Vaggie in heaven. Adam mentions that he named her because of how awesome she was on the front lines as an exorcist. If Adam gave her that name, and she stuck with it in hell after being abandoned there for not killing a cannibal kid, it seems to imply that she didn't have a name before that moment. If Vaggie was nameless before becoming an exorcist, and only got a name because Adam gave her one, I feel like this points to the exorcist just not existing before the exterminations happened, and them being created specifically for the purpose of exterminating sinners. If the exorcists were created by Adam, how were they made? This is a direct follow-up to my last question. Assuming I'm interpreting the origins of the exorcists correctly, how were they created? Did Sarah or someone higher than her just kinda create them out of nowhere? We do know that Seraphim can create other beings because Lucifer created Razzle, Dazzle, and Kiki all for Charlie, so it is possible that Sarah created them after granting Adam's request to have the exterminations. Or perhaps they were created in a similar vein of Eve, where they were created from Adam, so that way they would be more subservient to him as their leader and be a little more aligned in his goals of extermination. Personally, I do like the second option a little more than the first for the plot. It seems a little better than them just being conjured up out of nowhere. I also think it gives Adam a little more authority to be the one to actually name them if they were created from him. I don't know if you've noticed, but Scout is just kind of vibing out over there in the back of the room. Isn't it cute? What caused Lucifer and Lilith to split up? So far, we've only seen small glimpses of Charlie's home life with very little information about the timeline where that all occurs in. We see her as a young child in More Than Anything, seemingly before Lucifer and Lilith split up. We know at some point after that, Lucifer and Lilith do split up, and Lucifer becomes more reclusive and doesn't really see Charlie as much. And then at some point is 7 years before episode 1, when Lilith just disappears. Charlie and Lucifer began rebuilding their relationship in episode 5, but I'd really like to see what caused that rift in the first place. Why did Lucifer allow the exterminations to happen? We learn from Charlie that Lucifer, at least in some capacity, permits the exterminations to happen every year. We know that Sarah was worried that overpopulation in hell would lead to an eventual revolt against heaven, but why does Lucifer allow heaven to just come in and slaughter sinners? We learned from episode 1 that Lucifer gave a pardon to all hellborn creatures, which is probably why the exterminations only take place on the Pride Ring, where the sinners live. But were there negotiations that brought the exterminations to what they are now? Perhaps Adam wanted to be a little more widespread, but Lucifer wanted to fight back, and thus maybe they negotiated he would permit them to happen without interfering if they limited it to just the sinners on the Pride Ring. We know how overpowered Lucifer is compared to Adam, so perhaps this was the deal they struck so Adam wouldn't get killed off in his first ever extermination. This little theory would also explain why Lucifer showed up when he did in the finale, because Charlie, a hellborn person, got hurt by Adam, who was leader of the extermination army. So the exterminations were causing harm to hellborn, which would have violated their deal, and thus Lucifer now can show up and intervene. That is all just a theory, and I would personally love for Season 2 to expand a little bit more on what went down in the room where it happened. What was Lilith and Adam's deal? In the final moments of Season 1, Luke reveals that Adam is dead, and thus his deal with Lilith is broken. And if she wants to stay in heaven, she has to go put an end to Charlie's rehabilitation idea. But my question is, what deal did she make with Adam in the first place, and what was Adam getting out of it that resulted in Lilith being able to come to heaven? I have a feeling this will get revealed in Season 2, considering Lilith's whole having a deal with Adam and being in heaven was the cliffhanger ending to Season 1. So if we don't figure out how this all went down in Season 2, I will be genuinely shocked. Does Lucifer know that Lilith went to heaven? Lucifer seems to still have a little bit of pull in heaven, considering he has regular meetings with Adam about the exterminations, and was able to get Charlie a meeting with heaven to hear her case in front of the heavenly court that sinners can be redeemed. With all this pull, I do wonder if Lucifer knows where Lilith went, or if he's just as in the dark about things as Charlie is. Was Nifty an overlord? In the pilot, we see Husk and Nifty's silhouettes in the collection of overlords while Vaggie is telling Angel about the overlords and giving some of Alistair's backstory. Season 1 reveals that Husk was in fact a former overlord, and it shows us how he got to be owned by Alistair as he gambled away the souls he owned and thus then gambled his own away to Alistair to try and keep his power. With this confirmation from the main show, it does allude to Nifty being a former overlord as well. Where every overlord seems to have their shtick, where Alistair is the radio demon, Husk would have presumably been the gambling demon, Vox was the TV demon, etc., what would have been Nifty's deal? Would she have been the cleaning demon? She always seems a bit not together and not fully aware of her surroundings. So personally, I subscribe to the fan theory that she kind of just willingly gave her everything she had to Alistair, and it endeared her to him, which is why he treats her so much kinder than pretty much everyone else. But that's just a fan theory, and I would absolutely love to know the circumstances of if she truly is an overlord, and if so, how did she get to acquire other people's souls and then get her soul acquired by Alistair? It's just the details. There's so much potential for both comedy and some interesting storytelling there, so I would love to see it happen. Can overlords travel to Earth? I know cross-show canon between Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel right now are a bit muddy, but Hell of a Boss did show that people in Hell can, in fact, cross over to Heaven, under the right circumstances, of course. Where the Overlord's whole shtick is making deals with people, granting them power or access to things, and then owning their soul, is there a possibility that some of those deals are being made with souls on Earth before they die? We know that Angel signed his contract with Val under his real name, Anthony, and presumably not everyone in Hell sticks with their own original name. To be honest, I doubt Husk and Vox were those characters' real names while they were on Earth. Could this potentially point to Val making a deal with Angel while he was still just Anthony on Earth, or perhaps he kept his name when he went to Hell and just changed to Angel Dust as a stage name once he started working with Val? I will say it is totally plausible that Angel could have just went with Angel Dust as a stage name after getting to Hell and starting to work with Val. It is totally fair that that could be the explanation, and I'm just spieling on. But things are left a little too vague around the circumstances right now, so it leaves me wondering. When did Angel sign his contract with Val? Yes, this is a direct follow-up to the last question. Where it's currently unclear what circumstances Angel signed his contract under, and the potential deal-making abilities of the Overlords, whether or not they can go to Earth, or if all their deals have to be from people who are already in Hell, what have you, it leaves me wondering. There are some theories that, going off of some lines in Poison and the fact that Angel signed a heart next to his name when he signed his contract with Val, that he was actually in love with Val at first and tricked into signing his soul away. While this is a very strong theory that I kind of prescribe to at the moment, I hope we can get some more clarification on the circumstances around Angel signing his deal in Season 2. What went down between Alistair and the V's 7 years ago? We know from episode 2 that Vox unsuccessfully tried to recruit Alistair to his group, and that Alistair almost beat him before disappearing for 7 years. So what I'm gathering is that Vox not being able to get Alistair for himself led to a fight between the two, and possibly the other V's as well, that ultimately resulted in a loss for Alistair. But please, I need more details on how all of this went down. I want to know how Vox tried to court Alistair. I want to know if Val is a rebound because Vox couldn't get Alistair for himself. I want to know exactly how the fight went down. Hell, I want to know if Velvet might have even been the one to teach Alistair the phrase, "That's the tea." I need details. And finally, what deal did Alistair make? Given the fact that Alistair disappeared around the same time Lilith did, and the fact that he appeared to help Charlie right after she left a teary voicemail to Lilith's phone number, I'm going to confidently assume that Alistair's deal is with Lilith, and Lilith is the reason that he is at the hotel to help and generally assist Charlie. But what I'm curious about is why Alistair made the deal, and what the actual deal pertained to. Did it happen before or after his fight with the V's? Did he perhaps, after a loss, want more power, or did she maybe save him from an even worse fate? I don't know, and I want to know. We know so little about that time period in Hell, and with Lilith being propped up as a main character for Season 2, the possibilities are endless, and I have a feeling we are going to find out. Okay, I think for now, that is the list of burning questions I have after watching Has Been Hotel. If perhaps in like 5 more rewatches of the show, I have another sizable list of questions, maybe I'll make a follow-up to this video. Until then, however, let me know what questions you have about this show down below. I would love to know what you guys are all thinking about. Hopefully some of these questions do get answered in Season 2 and beyond, and until we do get those answers, I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.